In this video, we discuss about reproduction in lower and higher animals. In that, we discuss about male reproductive system. So, male reproductive system have or comprises primary sex organs, secondary sex organs, accessory ducts and external genitalia. In case of male, which is the primary sex organ? So, in case of male, that is testes acts as primary sex organ. And why testes is called as primary sex organ? Because it produces male gametes, that is sperm cells, through the process spermatogenesis, and it also produces male sex hormones. Okay, so testes is primary sex organ. So organs which are other than primary sex organs are also essential for reproduction, but they are not take part in spermatogenesis process. Such type of organs are called as secondary sex organs or accessory sex organs, in which some structures and glands are involved. So epididymis, highly coiled structure, then glands like a seminal vesicle, then prostate gland, Cowper's gland, these are secondary sex organs, and then some accessory ducts which carries the sperm cells. Okay, so such as retitestes, vas efferentia, vas deferens and urinogenital duct. So now it is called as urinogenital duct. And why it is called as this? So it carries both urine also and sperm cells also. That's why it is called as urinogenital duct. And external genitalia in case of male, that is penis. So we'll discuss all this in detail in male reproductive system. So the first part of this male reproductive system is the testes. So testes is the primary sex organ, and testes are small oval shaped organ which is mesodermal in origin, and its size is 4 to 5 centimeter in length, 2 to 3 centimeter in width and 3 centimeter is its thickness. Okay, and they are located in scrotum. So testes are extra abdominal. So this is very important point, that is testes are extra abdominal. So now see this. म्हणजे पहिल्यापासून टेस्टीज या एक्स्ट्रा ॲब्डॉमिनल नसतात. ॲट द टाइम ऑफ डेव्हलपमेंट ऑफ fetus, testes are produces in the abdominal, lower abdominal region at the development of male fetus. But during the 7th month of development, that testes are descend from abdominal region into the scrotal sac. And why this is happens? For the process of spermatogenesis. So this is very important point. Testes are extra abdominal. We see in detail why this is important. Okay, now testes are located in the scrotum. So what is the scrotum? Scrotum are pigmented pouch which is produces from skin and muscles. So scrotum are having two pouches. That's pouch is having two parts which is separated by each other by this scrotal sac. Two testes are descend into this two scrotal pouches. So scrotum having vaginal coelom, that cavity, scrotum having one cavity, and that cavity is called as vaginal coelom. So cavity present in scrotum is vaginal coelom, and vaginal coelom is filled with tissues that is called as hydrocele. This is the hydrocele, and testes are descend into the scrotum. Okay, so scrotum is also called as, it's also act as thermoregulator. It maintains 2 to 3 degrees Celsius less temperature from body temperature, and that is very important for the spermatogenesis process. So this 2 to 3 degrees Celsius less temperature is very important for spermatogenesis. So scrotum is called as thermoregulator. Okay. Now testes are descend into the scrotum by inguinal canal. So what is that inguinal canal? It is the connection between testes and abdominal cavity. Okay, so inguinal canal through which testes are descend from abdomen into the extra-abdominal region. Okay, and how the testes are locate or hold into the scrotum sac. So testes hold into the scrotum sac by the structure that is fibromuscular band, that is gubernaculum, through which testes are holds in its position. One is a gubernaculum and second one is a spermatic cord through which testes are connected with abdominal region and it holds into the its position. Okay, so spermatic cord, a long thick cord like structure through which arteries enter into the testes and veins leaves from testes. Okay, even this vas deferens also leaves from spermatic cord. Now the testes. Testes having two coverings. So outer covering is called as tunica vaginalis. Outer layer of testes is called as tunica vaginalis. And the inner layer of testes is thick and made from fibers, that is called as tunica albuginea. And testes also having this epididymis layer which is posterior inside. Okay, so this is important structure of what? Scrotum, in which testes are descends. And scrotum maintains this temperature because of some special muscles, and that muscles are called as Dertos muscles and cremaster muscles. So scrotum acts as thermoregulator. That means it maintains 2 to 2.5 degree or 3 degree Celsius less temperature than body temperature, and this temperature is very essential for which process? That is spermatogenesis. And scrotum contains this special muscles. So this is the from this point MCQ is formed. So scrotum have which type of muscles? That is Dertos muscles or cremaster muscles. And what is this? Gubernaculum and spermatic cord. It holds testes in position. So gubernaculum and fibromuscular cord through which testes are hold its position. And even the spermatic cord, a long cord through which arteries enter, veins or leaves from this testes, and even the vas deferens is also leaves from testes. In this video, we discuss about male reproductive system, and in that we discuss about the internal structure of testes. So, testes having a fibrous covering, collagenous tissues covering, and that is called as tunica albuginea. Thick covering of testes that is produces from fibers and okay, that is called as tunica albuginea. So this tunica albuginea shows infoldings, and because of that infoldings, testes produces some compartments, and how many that compartments are called as testicular lobules. Because of tunica albuginea shows infoldings, and because of that infoldings it produces lobules. Yes, and that is how many in present in one testis? That is near about 200 to 300 testicular lobules. So tunica albuginea, and outer layer is called as tunica vaginalis. This is also protective layer of testes. Outer layer is called as tunica vaginalis, and inner is a tunica albuginea, collagenous fibrous it is, and it is protective in covering, and it also what shows in foldings, and it produces testicular lobules. How many testicular lobules? 200 to 300 testicular lobules are present in each testis. Now in testes, what exactly in these testicular lobules? Some highly coiled tubular structure is present, and that highly coiled tubular structure is called as seminiferous tubules. Okay, so in each compartment or in each lobule, near about 1 to 4 seminiferous highly coiled tubule is present, and that is called as seminiferous tubule. So how many compartments? Near about 2 to 300 compartments. In that 1 to 4 seminiferous tubules are present in each compartment. Here I draw just one. Okay, so this is seminiferous tubule. It is highly coiled, and here it is become straightened, and it forms a network of tubules, and that network of tubules are called as retitestes. So this network of tubules then joins with the 10 to 12 tube-like structure tubules, that is called as vasa efferentia. So sperms are produced in this seminiferous tubules, in that sperms are produced, and from that it is transferred towards the retitestes, and from retitestes it transferred towards the vasa efferentia. So these seminiferous tubules are straightened here. They are blind at one end and they are straightened at this end, and that forms a network of tubules that is called as retitestes. Retitestes joins and it forms 10 to 12 tubule structure that is called as vasa efferentia. So this is the posterior view of testes, in which it is having tunica. This is the tunica albugina layer, very important layer it is, and it is produced from collagen fibers. Remember that it is also a protective in function, and it shows foldings, infoldings, and because of that infoldings it forms the septa, and that septa produces lobules. So it produces testicular lobules. 200 to 300 testicular lobules are produced in each testis, and the testicular lobules having what? A highly coiled structure that is called as seminiferous tubule. Each testicular lobule contains 1 to 4 seminiferous tubules. This is very important. So seminiferous tubule is the actual site for the synthesis of what? Sperm cells. Okay. So this seminiferous tubules attaches it becomes straightened, and it forms a network of tubules that is called as retitestes, and retitestes again connect into 10 to 12 tubules that is called as tube-like structure, that is vasa efferentia, and then this vasa efferentia joins to the epididymis. But first we see the detailed structure of seminiferous tubule. When we cut this seminiferous tubule, when we take the section of tubule, the seminiferous tubule, we see structure like this. Okay, so you understand this. Then we see the section of this testis or this seminiferous tubule. So seminiferous tubule, near about this seminiferous tubule, some connective tissues are present, and that connective tissues are interstitial connective tissues, and this is actually seminiferous tubules. So seminiferous tubules having two types of cells. Actually, these small cuboidal cells, cuboidal germinal cells are present, and these cuboidal germinal cells produces sperm cells. From germ cells, sperms are produced. It shows this spermatogenesis process. Okay. Cuboidal germ cells, what is the function of cuboidal germ cells? It is for the synthesis of sperm cells. Remember that this is the section of testes in which, what is this? This is the seminiferous tubules. So in seminiferous tubules, two types of cells are present. First is called as germ cells, from which sperms are produced. We will see in detail about this in spermatogenesis process. Okay, then these triangular cells, pyramidal triangular cells, are called as Sertoli cells, which are present in between these germ cells. Okay, and these Sertoli cells, also called as sustentacular cells, nurse cells. And what is the function of these Sertoli cells? Sertoli cells are essential for nourishment of developing sperm cells. So function of Sertoli cells is nourishment of developing sperm cells. Okay, so this is the very important function of Sertoli cells. Germ cells and Sertoli cells. Sertoli cells also called as sustentacular cells, and second one is also called as nurse cells. Why it is called as nurse cells? Because it nourishes the developing sperm cells. And in this interstitial connective tissues, some special cells are produced, and that is called as interstitial cells or Leydig cells. Okay, now this Leydig cells produces very important hormone, that is androgens. One of the most important androgen, that is testosterone. So Leydig cells produces testosterone. So this is the section of testes in which the seminiferous tubules are there, and in seminiferous tubule two main cells are there, cuboidal germ cells. So it produces sperm cells. So from this cuboidal germinal cells, this spermatocytes, it shows division, that is it produces primary spermatocytes, and from primary spermatocytes it shows meiosis, produces secondary spermatocytes. These all are present here. This what is that? Developing sperms. Okay, primary spermatocytes, from primary spermatocyte secondary spermatocytes are produced, and this secondary spermatocyte shows second meiotic division through which spermatids are produced, and from that spermatids finally mature sperm cells are produced. So all these sperm cells are produced in this seminiferous tubules. So which phases of sperm cells are seen in this this seminiferous tubule? That is germinal cells, that is spermatogonia. From this primary spermatocytes are produced, secondary spermatocytes are produced, and from secondary spermatocyte spermatids are produced, and then from these spermatids mature sperms are produced. Okay, so this is Leydig cells, which is essential for synthesis of testosterone hormone, male sex hormone, and Sertoli cells, also called as sustentacular cells or nurse cells. Okay, so these Sertoli cells also secrete one protein, that is ABP, androgen binding protein. Okay, and inhibin protein. So it inhibin stops the activity of FSH, and ABP, androgen binding protein, it concentrates testosterone into the seminiferous tubules. So Sertoli cells, one of the most important function of Sertoli cells is the nourishment, but the second function, it produces ABP, that is androgen binding protein, and this androgen binding protein is essential for concentrate this testosterone into the seminiferous tubule. This is essential for spermatogenesis process, and it also produces inhibin protein, and this inhibin protein is essential for stop the activity of FSH. So this is the section of testes. Now we see this epididymis. From this vas efferens, next structure is epididymis. So if we understand all this, seminiferous tubules, Then seminiferous tubules are blind at one end, but it straighten and it forms retitestes, network of tubules, that is retitestes, and from retitestes 10 to 12 tubes are formed, that is called as vasa efferentia. And from vasa efferentia this structure is formed, and that is called as epididymis. It is highly coiled structure. Yes, highly coiled structure. And what is the function of epididymis? It stores sperms. Okay, and sperms are functionally mature in this section. So in epididymis, sperms becomes mature. Okay, so epididymis having three regions, that is head region of epididymis is called as capute epididymis. Body region of this epididymis is called as corpus epididymis, and tail region of epididymis is called as quada epididymis. So what is the function of epididymis? It stores sperm cells, and physical maturity of sperms takes place in this place. So this is very important. So sperm cells are transferred from seminiferous tubules, then retitestes, then vasa efferentia, and from vasa efferentia sperms are transferred to Now we discuss in detail about this diagram of male reproductive system. Before that, we just see the histology of testes, then LS of this testes, LS of testes, and the histology of testes. In that we see the seminiferous tubule, structure of seminiferous tubule, and in detail structure of, that is histology, which type of tissues or cells present in what, that is testes, that is LS of testes. So now we discuss in detail structure of this male reproductive system. So we know this testes are oval in shape, and testes are extra-abdominal. They are placed in scrotum. So this is the testes and this is the scrotum. They hold in this testes by fibromuscular band, that is gubernaculum. And now this structure is called as epididymis. So from epididymis, a highly coiled structure, you know that the head is called as capute, body is called as corpus, and tail is called as capute epididymis. And from this a tube is extended, and that tube structure or that tube is called as vas deferens. Okay, so from seminiferous tubule the sperms are carried from seminiferous tubules to the retitestes, then vas efferens, and from vas efferens it transferred towards the epididymis. In epididymis it stores for 18 to 20 hours, and physical maturity of sperms takes place in epididymis. And then this epididymis joins and it forms a tube that is called as vas deferens. Okay, vas deferens take loop near this ureter. They enter into the abdominal cavity and loop into the ureter, and then they enter into the urethra. But before that, this seminal vesicle opens into this ampullary region. Some part of this is called as ampulla. Swelling part of this vas deferens is called as ampulla, in which seminal vesicles, duct of seminal vesicle also open. So this is called as vas deferens, and vas deferens have ampulla region. Swelling part of this vas deferens is called as ampulla, in which the duct of seminal vesicle is opens, and then these both duct combine and it forms one common ejaculatory duct. This is called as ejaculatory duct. So what is ejaculatory duct? Vas deferens plus duct of seminal vesicle. Duct of seminal vesicle. Seminal vesicle is a gland. So, duct of seminal vesicle and vas deferens, it combines and it forms one common duct, that is called as ejaculatory duct. So, ejaculatory duct passes towards this is donut shaped gland, that is called as prostate gland, which is 1 in number, and then it opens into the urethra. Okay, so this is called as urethra. This gland is called as prostate gland. Donut shaped gland, that is prostate gland. Two more small, that is one more gland that is small in size. Okay, P-shaped this gland is there, that is called as Cowper's gland, which is also called as bulbourethral gland. They are also 2 in number. So remember that prostate gland, also seminal vesicles 2 in number, prostate 1 in number, and Cowper's gland also 2 in number. Cowper's gland also called as bulbourethral gland. Now this urethra part is now called as urinogenital duct. Why it is called as urinogenital duct? Because it carries urine also and sperm cells also. And from after this Cowper's gland, the external genitalia starts. That part is called as penis. That is called as penis. And lowermost region of this penis is called as glans penis, and opening of urethra is called as urethral meatus or urethral orifice. Okay, and a loose fold of skin are present near this glans penis, and that is called as foreskin or prepuce. Okay, so this is the penis part in which urinogenital duct opens. Okay, so urinogenital duct because it carries both urine also and sperms also, and this gland is called as Cowper's gland. So in this diagram we see first that is testes, then this is scrotum, gubernaculum, fibromuscular band which holds the testes into the scrotum. Then this structure is called as what? Epididymis, and from epididymis this tube-like structure is called as vas deferens. Vas deferens take a loop around this ureter and then it opens into urethra. But before that, one ampullary region of this vas deferens where the seminal vesicles, duct of seminal vesicle is also opens. And now this vas deferens and duct of seminal vesicles combine and they form one common ejaculatory duct. Okay, so this is called as ejaculatory duct. So this ejaculatory duct now opens a donut shaped gland near the donut shaped gland, and that is called as prostate gland, which is 1 in number. And below the prostate gland one small gland is present, P-shaped gland is present, that is called as Cowper's gland. Okay, and now this urethra is opens through the penis, that is external genitalia in case of males, and the tip region of penis is called as glans penis, near which loose fold of skin is present, that is foreskin or prepuce is called, and the opening of urethra is also called as urethral orifice or urethral meatus. So this diagram is very important for your board exam and even your CET exam. So all names are very important from this. So scrotum, testes, epididymis, then vas deferens, then this is seminal vesicles, and now this seminal vesicles and vas deferens is called as common ejaculatory duct. This is the urinary bladder, and this donut shaped gland, that is prostate gland. Then P-shaped gland, very small, that is Cowper's gland or also called as bulbourethral gland. Then this urinogenital duct, Now we know that why it is called as urinogenital duct. Then this opens into the external genitalia, that is called as penis. Okay, so tip of penis, that is glans penis, it have a loose fold of skin that is called as foreskin or prepuce, and opening of urethra into this, that is called as urethral meatus or urethral orifice. Now we will discuss about the glands, which are also essential for reproduction. Okay, so that secretes some secretions or some chemicals which are also essential. So seminal vesicles, prostate gland and Cowper's gland, these are the major glands. Okay, so seminal vesicle is also a paired gland and it is present posterior side of urinary bladder. So this seminal vesicle opens into the vas deferens. Okay, so duct of seminal vesicles and vas deferens now combinedly is called as a ejaculatory duct. So seminal vesicles secrete fluid which is slightly alkaline. So its pH is more than 7, and the secretion of seminal vesicles is called as seminal fluid. So total semen, from total semen 60% contribution is for the seminal fluid. So 60% seminal fluid is, so in total semen 60% fluid is a seminal fluid. Okay, so seminal fluid having, or it secretes these three main substances, that is fructose. Fructose is essential for movement of or energy, for the, it is a energy source for the sperm, and then fibrinogen. So fibrinogen coagulates the semen for the quick propulsion in vagina. And in this prostaglandin, so prostaglandin stimulates the reverse peristalsis in vagina and uterus. Okay, so this is the seminal vesicle. Seminal vesicles present posterior side of the bladder. It produces seminal fluid and its contribution is 60% in total semen, and it contains substances like a fructose is an energy source for sperm, fibrinogen is for the coagulation of semen, and prostaglandins is for the stimulating reverse peristalsis of semen in vagina and uterus. Okay, now the second gland, that is prostate gland. Prostate gland having 20 to 30 lobes, and it is present underneath the urinary bladder. Okay, so it is donut shaped gland and it produces slightly acidic fluid, and that is called as prostatic fluid. So prostate gland produces slightly acidic, that means its pH less than 7. So prostatic fluid, and its contribution is a 30%. That means in total semen 30% is prostatic fluid. And prostatic fluid contains citric acid, acid phosphatases, enzymes and bicarbonates. So all these are protect semen from highly acidic substances or highly acidic situation in vagina. So it protects semen from this highly acidic condition in vagina. And last and very small gland, that is Cowper's gland, also called as bulbourethral gland. So it is present either side of, very small pea-shaped gland it is, and it is present either side of urethra. So it also produces alkaline fluid, viscous, mucus-like structure, mucus-like fluid. Okay, so and this is for the lubrication. Yes. So lubrication of sperms. So this mucus is essential for lubrication. And now what is the semen? So we use the word semen. So semen is nothing but secretion of gland, also called as seminal plasma. How much it is? 90%. And sperms is only, in that also sperms present, and that sperms from epididymis. Okay. So in seminiferous tubules, sperms are produced. It transferred towards the retitestes. From retitestes, vas efferens. From vas efferens, epididymis. From epididymis, vas deferens. And then ejaculatory duct. And then it is passes towards the urinogenital duct. Okay. So semen is equal to secretion of glands, that is seminal plasma. It contributes 90%. Only 10% sperms are there. So in semen near about its pH is 7.2 to 7.7. It is slightly alkaline. Okay, and per ejaculation 2.5 to 4 ml semen is released. Per ejaculation 2.5 to 4 ml semen is released, and in that semen 400 million sperm cells are produced. So how much? It is 400 million sperms. And that seminal plasma also contain all this: fructose, fibrinogen, prostaglandins, citric acid, this bicarbonates, acid phosphatases, enzymes, and all this mucus also. Okay, so semen is nothing but the secretion of glands, that is seminal plasma and sperm cells. So, and pH of, this is very important point, pH of semen is 7.2, 7.7, and how much quantity of sperms is in per ejaculation? It is 400 million sperms. Okay, so seminal vesicles, prostate gland and Cowper's gland. So in your textbook, 2 diseases are given, that is cryptokyrridism, a condition, cryptokyrridism, if testes are not able to descend into the scrotum, then such condition are called as cryptokyrridism. So I just tell that and during the development of fetus, the testes are descends from abdomen into the scrotum during the 7 months of that development. But if it is not able to descend into the scrotum, then such conditions are called as cryptokyrridism. That means the testes are inside in the abdomen and they are not able to, that testes are not able to produce sperm cells. Why? Because spermatogenesis process requires 2 to 2.5 degree Celsius less temperature than body temperature, and such condition is a cryptokyrridism. So such men are not able to produce sperm cells. Then inguinal hernia. Sometimes the intestinal loops, intestinal muscles are enter into the inguinal canal, and such condition are called as inguinal hernia. So part of intestine is enter into the inguinal canal and it enter into the testes, that is near the testis part. So this is called as inguinal hernia. So part of intestine enters into the inguinal canal. So this condition is called as inguinal hernia and cryptokyrridism. Okay.